how to be really good at setting boundaries. So I consider myself a bit of a boundary setting pro, for sure. And setting boundaries has everything to do with truth. Some people tend to think hostility is a boundary, and I hate to break it to you if this is you, but saying things like, don't talk to me like that, don't disrespect me, or escalating conflicts is not setting boundaries. And the real truth about being a good boundary setter is so freaking awesome. And I'm going to teach you all about it today, everything I know. Make sure to like this video, share, subscribe. If this is helpful, I'd love to meet you in the comments. But in my most recent video about setting boundaries, I talked about this triangle of, it's a mental pattern that you likely have that prevents you from being able to set boundaries. And what it is lack of trust in your own perceptions, fear of other people's reactions if you set boundaries, and invalidation of your own true thoughts and feelings. And so I'm going to share a personal story of when I set a pretty badass boundary with someone and how this relates to the triangle, to transmit to you how I do this in my life. And first though, the thing about boundaries is that your boundaries are going to be attuned to your morals and your level of integrity. So people without integrity, they are going to have different boundaries than people with integrity. But true boundary setting is always meant to protect you and benefit you in some way without harming others. It's really just a response to you being harmed. And we don't set boundaries to control others or to because we think their behavior is wrong necessarily. We always set a boundary when there's something that we need from that boundary. So I was at a club. There wasn't very many people in this club. It was a very small club too. I'm a bit of a raver. I like to go to raves. And me and my friend were in the front, right in front of the stage the whole time. We were there for hours. And I was dancing in the flow. I was all blissed out. I was totally one with the music. It was amazing, honestly. Just thinking back to it, I'm wow. I need to get back to the raves. But all of a sudden, this girl, she starts backing up into my face, and she's literally touching me. She just and the stage is right there, so there's no reason why she should be in front of me. And so she's in front of me, she's backing into me, and I get it, people aren't drinking, whatever, maybe they're doing a little more than drinking, but she didn't seem that drunk to me. And her ear was right here in my face, and I said, "Excuse you, you're in my space." And it was very direct and calm and grounded. I remember I was blissed out. I wasn't high, but I was in the zone, in the present moment. And as soon as I did that, she kind of I don't know if she apologized. She kind of shrank. She looked a little bit startled that I said that. And later on in the night, she kept apologizing to me and saying she was sorry. But afterwards, I kind of had this self-doubt. I was was I mean? Should I have not said that? Was I being mean? And I felt kind of guilty. And this is really beautiful, how this relates to the triangle I'm talking about, because I'm going to explain to you why when I said, "Excuse you, you're in my space," was actually the best thing that I could have said. So what I did in that moment was I did a split-second read on the situation, and then I took right action and responded to the truth of the situation that I was seeing. So I analyzed in my mind, there's not that many people in this club. We're in the front, so these people likely knew we were standing here. She doesn't look that drunk. Her energy is also a little bit off. And so I concluded, I didn't even like do this consciously. My intuition concluded that she knew exactly what she was doing. So the reason why I said excuse you was because the truth of her behavior was she was doing whatever she was doing, being a mean girl, power games, whatever immature people do sometimes. And so she did on purpose, right? And so in the split second, I analyze what was happening. I see the truth of the situation. I trusted in the truth of the situation, that she knew exactly what she was doing. And then I took right action to respond to what she was doing and set a boundary. And then afterwards, so this relates to the triangle, right? In the unhealthy boundary triangle, you have fear, distrust, and invalidation. In the healthy boundary trial that I used in this example, make sure this is on, that I used in this example, it would be courage and right action. Trust in your own perceptions, seeing the truth, trusting the truth, and validating your own true thoughts and feelings either during or after. And so we see how I saw the truth, I trusted it. I had the courage to take right action without fear of her reaction. And where I messed up a little bit was the validation part. Because afterwards I found myself feeling guilty and questioning if I was mean. And that's actually a sign of my own narcissistic abuse conditioning. Those of us who've been through narcissistic abuse, we're trained to take on other people's guilt. And so what I did in that moment was, she looked guilty when she reacted to me. Her behavior was mean. That was very mean. And instead of me validating the fact of like, whoa, that was really mean, I kind of like internalized it towards myself being mean, but really in truth, her behavior was the behavior that was mean. And this is the beautiful thing about boundaries. How you set really good boundaries is by responding to the bare bones truth of the moment. You have to respond to the truth. And this is especially works well with toxic people, because if you ever try to set like a verbal boundary with a toxic person and you're not taking that like perfect right action that is like really grounded in truth, they usually have some like way of like getting under your skin or not responding to it. But I found in my experience, when you respond from an energy of truth and trust, things go your way. You are protected emotionally and physically. One moment. I guess I kind of have ADHD brain, because it's really much better for me to listen to music while I'm making videos. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so what old me would have done in that situation, if I was in the unhealthy boundary triangle, was I would have probably immediately doubted my perception and questioned myself a lot. I would have been like, maybe she's just drunk. Maybe she doesn't know what she's doing. Why is she doing that? And maybe would have caused confusion, self-doubt. And then I probably wouldn't have had the courage to even say something. So I would have backed up, probably let her invade my space. And I probably wouldn't even have recognized or seen like how it truly made me feel, how it was actually mean and rude and disrespectful. And really, one part of knowing that someone is doing something, knows exactly what they're doing, is trusting your feelings. But I want to be careful here, because this isn't true for everyone. Like, some people project and like aren't experiencing true feelings. So it's like, be careful with that. But we also want to talk about respect. How you set really good boundaries is you have to respect people. I know it sounds weird, right? Like, what does respecting people have to do with setting boundaries? Well, it's because a lot of people would respond to that situation. A lot of unhealthy people would respond to that situation. Like, even criticism I could imagine myself getting on this is like, she was probably just drunk. She probably just didn't know she was in your space. But I have the respect for her in that moment to know that, when your body is touching someone else's. She knew she was in my space. she didn't look that drunk. She wasn't slurring her words. And so you have the respect to know that people know exactly what they're doing. And that allows you to act from that place of truth. And like, that's just like mean girl, like bullying thing. Like, what, you were jealous because I was all blissed out? Whatever. Like, who cares? And the thing that made this boundary healthy was, as soon as she like backed off, I just continued dancing and going back to my own thing. It wasn't about confrontation. It wasn't about proving to her that what she did was wrong, that I knew what she was doing, or anything like that. I was just like, okay, you're out of my space. I'm good now. And I'm going to continue dancing. Also, if there's any ravers watching this, pro raver tip, you don't ever move out of your spot when you're raving. Because if you do, people will just keep on moving you. That's one of the boundaries that I learned through raving a lot, is that my spot, no one moves me. Because people will often be like backing into you and stuff. And here's the difference. When someone is backing up into you and they're just like in the moment, they're just dancing, they're in the zone, and you like confront them about it, what most like normal rave people do is they say, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you there. They're like, yeah, sorry, I was dancing, whatever. And that's the behavior of someone who made a mistake. That's the type of reaction you get from people who make a mistake. Someone who's doing something on purpose to you reacts like that girl reacted to me, where she kind of like looked afraid of me a little bit. And she looked like I just caught her doing something, and it kind of caught her off guard. And that's the thing about responding to truth, is that some people are like so discombobulated that you see through them, that you see things, because they don't surround themselves with people who see through them, obviously. Because if people who see through them don't hang out with them. But regardless, so yeah, I think that a lot of people misunderstand like what it means to really set boundaries. In order to respond accurately to the truth of the situation, you also have to be seeing the truth of the situation, which it's really hard to do when you have triggers, or when you need to like protect your ego in any way, or when you're like attached to experiencing certain things. It's really hard to see the truth. And that's where discernment comes in, objective observation. People who are really good at setting boundaries have really good discernment and are really good at objectively observing. When I see that someone knows exactly what they're doing, I'm not like morally justified to like do something about it. I'm just like, if you're bothering me, I'm going to say something. That type of thing. You know what I mean? And there's no judgment. It's just like, I don't want to hang out with people like that. And yeah, so there's actually like two sides to this triangle. First one is distrust in yourself, invalidation of yourself, fear of others. Another side, think about which one is you. Another side is people who make others afraid of them, invalidate others' feelings and thoughts, and what's the other one? Kind of like overly distrust others. That's another way that you can have unhealthy boundaries. And I see this commonly with like controlling personalities or narcissistic personalities. Like, if you are using aggression to dominate people, to get them to back off and show people that you're not going to be messed with, that isn't setting a boundary. That is black magic. That is using fear to control people. That is not what healthy boundaries are. And for me, I've experienced a lot of invalidation in my life. That's one of my, like biggest wounds that I think I'm actually still working through today. It's been one of the hardest things for me to work through, is being invalidated for my thoughts, my feelings, being unheard and unseen. I think, I won't go into that tangent, but being invalidated and sorry, I just got a little emotional. There's it's really common for us to suppress what we truly think, but the thing is about validating your own thoughts and feelings is that if you are in integrity, most of the time, not all the time, your thoughts are really going to be reflecting reality. Like, if you're reasonable, there is not like a good reason for, your thoughts to be invalidated. Are you catching my drift? Like, if you thought someone was being mean, like the fact that I thought that girl was doing it on purpose and being mean, why would I think that if she wasn't? Like, I don't really have a reason to, because if she wasn't, like, I've had people get in my space before, and like, you just were like, your body reactions kind of show you what energy people are acting off of, and you can like utilize your own soul's intuition. So this is one of my gifts. We all have our gifts and talents. You're talented and gifted, but one of my gifts is this like intuitive ability to speak truth and respond to truth in perfect right action. So, yeah, this is how to be a boundary setting pro. Seeing and trusting the truth of the moment, having the courage to take the right action and respond to that truth, and then validating your own thoughts and feelings about you, the truth about you and others. So, I love you. I hope this video was helpful for you. Share this with a friend who needs it. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in my next video.